No questions. We may have a test next week. It may be the last thing. Then maybe because we may be about done with this chapter. Go ahead and start copying this down. This chapter's not real long. Buying a used vehicle. We know Noah doesn't have to worry about this because he's always going to buy just brand new Mercedes and stuff. But the rest of us may have to worry about it. I've never bought a brand new car in my life. And I know all of you think that I'm always going to buy brand new cars. Sorry, Kendra, but you might get out of here and figure out that that really isn't the case. That you can afford, especially right now. Right, Lane? Especially right now. I'm guessing a whole bunch of you, and your folks too, can't afford a brand new car. The way the car prices are right at the moment.
I got it on my surprise now, right?
Yeah, you can handle it. Not as soon as they make the work day 48 hours a day,
Yep.
then you'll be able to afford a new car working at Subway. Colby, you need a piece of paper or something? You just need a little push, didn't you?
Yeah, I was in a simulation.
So used vehicle, a used vehicle guide you can get online. The most common one, the one that everybody knows, is Kelly. That's one of the used vehicles. What's the other one on there? Hang on, I was just looking at it. I can't remember the name of it. There's another big one that's online that you can look at. And there's several of them. Carfax is that tells you all the information about the car, what's happened to the car in the past.
Car code. Car
The books, that's just selling things. So that doesn't really tell you the information about the car or something like what we're going to talk about. That's just selling you the car. Now, if you're using those, if you're getting a car trader or something and you're going online and using and trying to buy a car off of there, you might want to use this first. And that's part of what we're going to do today is look at how can you tell if when you go out and you buy a car off of Elijah, how can you tell if you're getting a good deal or not? Because of course Elijah's going to lie to you and tell you that he's giving you a good deal. And he's probably, I got to watch my words here. He's probably trying to rip you off. There's a lot of other terms I wanted to put in there that I can't say in a high school classroom.
Oh.
So you got to make sure that you know if you're getting a good deal or not, or if it's just completely ridiculous. Carfax is a good one. You have to pay for Carfax. The last time that we went out, me and my family went out to buy a car, I actually paid for Carfax for a 3-month setup. And then I used it to check the cars that we were thinking about buying or thinking about looking at. And it helps. One of the cars, I remember one of the vans that I looked at was, when I looked it up on Carfax, because I thought, man, this looks like a pretty good deal. But the van had a lot of miles on it. but it was a newer van. And when I looked it up, I found out that Coca-Cola had owned it, and they used it as one of their fleet vans, like for their salespeople to drive around, which can be a good thing, can be a bad thing, because if a big company like that owns this van, what do you know is happening to it? It's being taken care of. It's getting serviced all the time, right? Now the bad thing is that it's getting used a lot, and not only is it getting used a lot, but it's getting used a lot by probably people who really don't give a crap about it. All right? You go out and you rent a car, you're going to drive it the same way that you drive the car that you actually bought and have to keep around?
No.
Probably not. Okay? So sometimes that can be a good thing, sometimes it can be a bad thing. One of the other ones, one of the vans I looked at, I climbed underneath it when we were looking at the van. I thought, what in the world? It just had like a layer of sand just all over the bottom of the van. I'm like, what in the world is this? And then I looked it up on Carfax. Come to find out, it was a rental car down in South Carolina at Myrtle Beach. So that somebody was driving it through that sand all the time and stuff. I thought, all right, this car is not for me, because I'm sure there's probably something not going to be right with it. If this sand, if it's got that much sand still on it, there's sand everywhere else probably too. So you can use Carfax for that. These vehicle user guide, or these used vehicle guides, what they will do is they'll give you prices, what this car should cost. And you can get really, really detailed on them by putting in, okay, this car has air conditioning, it has power locks, it has this, all the different options. And it will tell you what it should, what the price should be about it, what the fair price should be. So if you go to buy this vehicle off of Elijah, and you look it up on one of these used vehicle guides, you can say, all right, Elijah, you're trying to get $8,000 out of this car. Well, I looked it up on Kelly's Blue Book, and it's actually worth about $5,000. I'm not giving you $8,000 for this. And then maybe Elijah will rethink his selling price. If you ever watch, my wife watches Judge Judy. And if you watch Judge Judy, she's got her bailiff standing there, and she asks him, what's the value of this car? And he looks it up, and a lot of times they're full of crap. Because it seems like there was one time he was looking up the value. I was sitting there watching it, and I was on my computer, and I looked up Kelly's Blue Book value for the certain car that they were looking at, and he said it was like $3,000, and the actual Blue Book value was like $7,000. I'm like, where is he getting this number from? It's nowhere on here. Now with this, if you're actually looking at the book, if you were looking at the paper version and not what they'll do in the book, is they'll have like different categories. Is the car in fair shape? Or I'm sorry, no, that's not first. Is the car in poor shape? Fair? Is it in good shape? And then they'll have, is it in like excellent shape? And they'll give you different prices for that certain vehicle at that point, or at that level. To figure out and again, if you're doing this online, it's going to figure it out for you. The average retail price is going to equal the average retail value plus any additional options minus option deductions. Now, what option deductions mean is if the car doesn't have AC, then you take money off. All right, especially now. Most every car in the world has AC now. If it doesn't have AC, then you subtract money off of the value. And then the mileage deduction. And usually the mileage deduction that you subtract off, it'll give you a range. If the car's got 50 to 60,000 miles, you take off $100. If it's got 60 to 70,000 miles, you take off $200. If it's got 70 to 80,000 miles, you take off $300, so on, so on, so on. On the homework that you're going to have, there's a paper. Wes, will you grab that paper right there next to you? Yep. And that paper has the list of what you're going to use on the homework for those deductions, for those add-ons. All right? You can pass them around if you want. I'm going to have everybody get up here in a second, so it doesn't really matter. So use this sheet on the homework. Now before the homework, we're actually going to do another computer activity. So here in a minute, I'll have you get your computers out. The assignment, your assignment for today, 348, 2 through 14. 348, 2 through 14, write that down. Set that stuff off to the side. Get your computer out. Also, everybody get up and go grab these other two papers that are sitting over here on this table. One off of each pile. Yeah. .48, 2 through 14. Yeah, hurry up. What's wrong with you? Colby, see, this is looking off into La La Land again, and I'm going to do this.
I was in a simulation. Fortnite simulation.
Oh, yeah.
He goes
Every single day.
No, it still says it to this day.
Yeah, for real.
Yes.
Dude, you should see when Kobe actually did that. He was like, he's been stuck in that simulation. What's this?
Simulation, wow.
did not accidentally throw that back.
Well, you know, it was actually, as far as,
Oh, we was ready to kill someone.
Buster, he almost got me.
On your computers, once you get them out. Again, if your computer's dead, I do have a couple of chargers. There's one over here, and there's some in the box back there. If you need one, I can grab one for you. You're going to have to listen closely because I have to go back here to do this. Is everybody about ready? First thing I want you to do is type in this. Kelly. You just type in Kelly. Oh, again, this packet, you gotta, or the worksheet that you just picked up, that's gonna be turned in.
We hand that up to Elijah.
I don't take any of my schoolwork inside ever. I get home, stays in my shirt. Homework is like, that sucks.
Are we ready yet? So if you type in Kelly, it should come up Kelly Blue Book Values of Used Cars. Click on it. And I spelled Kelly wrong and the computer still understood it. There he is. Is everybody with me to that point?
Oh, type in.
Nathan, we're on our computers. Type in Kelly. Set there by Noah, he'll help you. Also, Nathan, you'll be
20 push-ups.
page, was it 342 and 345, two different ones. Don't worry about that now, let's just do the computer. So we can move on. Is everybody to this point? Yes, no, maybe? Lane, you with me? Are you lying? Click on the official Kelly Blue Book Used Cars. Should pop up, it should look something like this.
Oh my goodness, it did shut
Yeah, so let's see if I can let it charger in there.
Oh my goodness, it didn't shut up.
Hey Jay, is there another charger over there around you guys?
No. He's using it at the moment.
Like stab
I just wanted to talk to you. What's it do?
Nathan, step out there and see if you can put the batteries out.
I just asked Ms. Barnes if she has one.
Charger? Yeah. Probably doesn't have it.
Slam? No, slam down.
Most of the teachers don't keep them. When somebody leaves the charger in here, I keep it, I go turn it back in. So I have to do it.
This side's fine.
What are we looking for?
My computer's at home, so I can use my charger.
I see a
Just get over here and plug it in right here. So, while we're waiting on everybody else, I'm tired of waiting. Let's go. This is what you're going to do. You're not listening right now. I'm telling you, we're going to make this a test grade. everybody sit close up to the front there. Go up to the board and write this car down for me.
Good shit. I got you, cuz.
Just write down,
Okay, race it.
no, 2010. It's gonna be short. 2010 Mercedes.
Mercedes
Coupe. C-O-U-P-E.
Where's the E then?
Where's the E?
Oh, E? What is the high school coupe, man?
That's all we know about this car. We're gonna look up this car together, try to figure out Kelly Blue Book. Thank you, Tyler.
Is it red like what else?
That's all I need. So, the first thing you do, where it says,
I thought it was like.
watch my finger up on the board there, where it says price, new, used, click on it.
I'm doing score.
Price, new, used. Should pull up this screen. Everybody see that screen? What year car do we want?
2010.
We'll go down to 2010. What make?
Mercedes.
Mercedes. See if we can find that. I'm hoping they have it on here.
Coupe.
Model.
That's not gonna be a coupe.
Ah, there's no coupe. I thought there'd be.
There's Mercedes.
Pick one. Which one are we going to? Let's
Pick
just go to the
pick
front.
an E-class. E-class.
C-class.
Okay.
C-class.
Go to price do you use?
I
Where
swear.
do you live at? What's your zip code?
45347.
That's what I put in. If you got a different zip code, put in a different one. It shouldn't make any difference.
If it's like one of the minivan Mercedes, I'm gonna do some at one of those stupid SUV Mercedes.
Is everybody to that point?
Mr. Ebersole,
Yep.
what do I put for the mileage?
We haven't got that far yet. How'd you get there?
No, it's not.
This is just what it pulled up when I pressed the website.
That's a good part. Like the actual code when you look up in the phone.
Oh, never mind.
That'd be nice.
Are we ready to that point?
Yes, sir.
Hit next. And they'll ask you different questions for different cars. Sometimes the next question they'll ask is it a hatchback or is it a sedan?
It better not be a hatchback as a Mercedes.
Right, so sometimes they'll ask you that, this time they don't. What we want to click on, build and price. We want build and price.
It's like it's a Mercedes. Why'd you pick with the Aston Martin?
Then it gives you a style. What style of that certain car is it? Which one are we picking?
Lowest price.
The lowest price?
Yeah.
So let's put that one in.
Yeah, I definitely clicked on the wrong thing. Walking around. Maybe I should pay. They got a Chevy Equinox on
Once you have that, once you pick your style of car, what style of car it is, hit next.
Oh, we picked a C-Class?
Oh, I'm building my car.
This has select options. Now, we're not actually building this car. This is a car that we're trying to buy, all right? So you would have all this information about this car, right? So you know what color it is, what this is, what that it is, so on and so on. What color do we want our car to be?
Red.
Black. Brown.
They don't have a red, so
Silver.
Silver.
Silver, yeah, silver.
silver instead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Silver would be clean.
Yeah.
Now, looking down here, when we get to the activity that you're going to do, you don't have to worry about these.
Oh, we're still gonna get it.
All the different options and stuff. You can if you want. You'll notice that it's saying it has all these options. You can take that air conditioning off and say it doesn't have air conditioning, it doesn't have power windows, it doesn't have power steering. Has anybody ever driven a car that doesn't have power steering?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is so bad.
It's so bad.
I'd say most of you are probably too young for that, but there might be a couple here and there.
Ooh, click on seats, put heated seats, Mr. Ebersole. It's down. There it is. We need
So
those.
it does have heated seats, we're gonna say.
Yeah, we need heated seats.
Say it's leather,
Yeah.
so on and so on. Again, we're not building our own car here.
Oh.
This is normally, we'll have this information about the car, whether it has these options or not. You put them in there,
And it'll pop up if they do.
so it'll pop up the correct price for all those options and everything on that car. Does that make sense?
You can look for one with premium wheels and a real spoiler.
Now, again, Tyler, we're not looking for a car here. If we wanted to look for a car for sale like the one that we're building here, you'd have to click on that other button a few minutes ago. So let's just go to next. Your price might be different than mine if you didn't click all those same things.
Watch nothing pop up.
Clear that.
Cause ain't nobody got freaking Mercedes in new Paris.
Says get a used car price.
Should've looked up Chevy.
Shouldn't say that. You're not supposed to say that.
No, click it.
Click, get a used car price, and then it'll show you that. Oh my God, it's such a
Alright, now
beautiful
show.
car. That ain't a bad price. Like if I had a
Type in
full-time
Kelly.
job,
And that should be the first thing.
I'll help you. Oh my goodness gracious.
So you're looking at this. On the page that you have to do, I gave you 3 cars. These are the things you're going to look at. The fair market range. This car should be in a price range between $8,231 and $10,212.
Shaky.
So if Alex is trying to sell us this car and he's asking $15,000 for it because he lives in Preble County and everybody lives in Preble County and owns a Mercedes, thinks it's something special, then you can tell Alex, yeah, Alex, I'm not giving you $15,000 for that car. It's only worth about $8,000 or $9,000.
Can we do my Ranger?
All right? Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah. $500.
What year's your Ranger?
2001.
The typical listing price, so if this was at a dealership, or not so much not a dealership, just a normal sales, or somebody, Elijah selling us this car, the typical price would be about $9,600. All right? And you notice, if you look at this, I don't know why they don't have it this time. Usually they have numbers down here along the bottom. If a price is over here in this range, what's that telling you?
Too high.
It's too high. If it's over here in this range,
Too low.
too low. There might be something wrong with the car. You might want to check it out really, really well. Or you might just be getting a great deal and you might want to go ahead and buy it and then resell it. Especially stuff like right now, I'm thinking about reselling all my cars because right now all my cars are worth more than what I paid for them because that's the way all cars are right now. So, what is your car?
Me?
Yeah.
2001 Ford Ranger.
AKA a piece of trash.
AKA trash.
I'm just
It
kidding.
literally needs a shoe box addition on the side.
So if we go back,
Refresh.
I mean, it's driving, sitting in it, but over here I'm sitting back. Like just driving in it.
It's a truck, Mr. Ebersole.
Is that right? Were you a
Press home.
press what?
Home.
Home?
No, you just scroll down and where it says.
Just go back to
Not that home. The other home.
The one that, where it says Kelly Boo Boo, you make
Oh, well.
We get a price.
I'm back.
Roll that up, right?
So, if we go through the same thing, tell me everything, Tyler.
2001.
It's like that.
Ford Ranger. it's an extended cab, but they don't have that option. We'll do it. It's the same difference. One
Where's
will have
the-
one to do with my uncle's truck.
Click on that. Yeah.
Says.
Two-door. Just an extended, not super. Red.
Crap, there's so many colors.
They were Ranger pink, bro.
Now, since you know the car, you can punch in all this stuff if you want. On the activity that I want you guys to do, you don't have to do all of this if you don't want.
It ain't manual. It's
What
not.
kind of motors it got?
Yeah, it's on the right one, but it's an automatic. And it's two-wheel drive.
Is it an XLT, an XL, or any of that
It's
stuff?
XLT, I think.
Options. Now these, because they have some of them
Yeah.
already marked, it might not have them, you might have to unmark them. So it got, anti-lock brakes?
I don't think so.
Probably so.
No, probably not. That's your
Air conditioning,
Yeah,
sliding rear window,
yeah,
power sliding rear window,
no,
power windows,
yeah,
power door locks,
yeah,
cruise control,
yeah,
power steering,
yeah,
tilt wheel,
yeah,
AM FM stereo,
yeah,
cassette player,
no,
no cassette player,
no,
CD player,
yeah,
it's got the premium sound system in it,
got an aftermarket stereo.
dual airbags,
I haven't tested them yet.
You should.
does it have power seats,
No,
leather seats,
no,
sunroof,
no,
moonroof,
no. Rangers have it?
does it step side,
No.
does it have running boards,
Dude, I'm not a country boy.
does it have running boards,
No, I don't think so.
does it have a grill guard, you got the big cow pusher on it,
No.
you got a shell on it,
Well, I wish. No. No.
you got a utility body,
It has a bed.
It's got bed liner.
bed liner, towing package,
Barely.
steel wheels, or alloy wheels,
They're alloy.
you know,
Yeah, they're alloy.
alloys, hit next,
And then we should do my car next.
$2. Ain't no way, cuz.
How much
Hey, there's my truck.
That's right, your drive.
so it's saying it's worth
There's,
$4,000 or $5,000.
Bit
taken
of rust,
care
I
of.
think.
What conditions is it
About 500 left.
in? Poor?
Poor condition, Ebersole.
So,
I bought my truck for $1,500, but I've also put money in it, so it's mechanically sound, but the outside's not pretty.
I thought somewhere on here, does it have somewhere on here, has anybody found it, where it lets you give the condition?
It's definitely got way more mileage than that.
It's got more than 142.
Oh yeah. 213.
So, you can switch the mileage, 213,000,
Yeah.
and then that'll give us a better price. Dropped it down about $600.
You should look at my car.
Supposedly Rangers run to 500,000 miles. I was believe it when I see it.
I swear on here though, somewhere it said, if I can figure out, somewhere it allows you to say if it's in poor condition, good condition.
That's
somewhere,
if
but
you
I don't know
price,
what that-
that's if you price your own car, I think.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Alright, so what I want you to do, and you can do your car if you want to do it, but make sure you do the 3 cars that I gave you. On those 3 cars.
I did my car, but it wasn't letting me do it manually. Deal.
On the 3 cars. Car 1, car 2, car 3. So you got the 3 cars there. again, you can put in, you can look down through the, equipment, the options if you want, and go through all that if you want. You don't have to. When you put in just the bare minimum of what you have to put in to get to it,
It's got 6 speed.
I want the fair market range, I want the fair purchase price, I want the typical listing price, and then I want you to explain to me for each car, is this person giving you a good deal or not? Does that make sense? So, and when I say, are they giving you a good deal, just say, no, it's a terrible deal because the price is too high. Yeah, it's a pretty good deal because the price is $500 lower than the typical price, so on and so on. Does that all make sense?
Listings of cars on here, like the, whether
Well,
it's
well,
deal or
yeah,
not,
you
or do we do it off of the typical list?
Off the typical listing price. Off what the prices that you got that you wrote down in your blanks there.
Yeah, what would you say your conditions?
Yeah.
Did you find the condition?
4. I'd say it's fair because it's mechanically sound, but if you looked at the body, you might want to throw up. That's better.
Oh.
That's better. That's better.
That's what you get if you traded it in.
Oh yeah, I'd
Oh,
probably get,
that's the trade-in value, yeah.
I'd probably get 2 cents.
So they were just telling you it was worth about $4,000. Trade-in, you're gonna get about $900 for it. Does that seem fair?
That ain't it. I'm just gonna take it to the.
He said, that's better, that sounds about right, that's all it's worth.
That's about right there.
Now, the other thing you could do, so as you're doing this, go ahead and do this. If you wanted to do your car, there was a price back here at the start where it said, value your car. You could go through there and put in all that stuff.
Everybody's gonna put their values over.
If you can do whatever you want for these last few minutes, but make sure you get this paper done before you walk out. So if you're sitting here for the next 30 minutes messing around with just your car, then you're not going to get the paper done, and you get a 0.
Building price.
And that's what Nathan needs right now, is another 0 here at the end of the 9 weeks, right?
We're doing this for the rest of the class, you said? We're doing this for the rest of the class?
Yeah, unless you guys start getting on my nerves, then we'll do something else.
No. Color is a gray. Dude, color has everything to do with price. I'll kill you. That's a blind spot. I like first, but it's stupid Dave Ramsey stuff.
Gordon Ramsay.
Every day you go in there, bro, get your work done. Like, I got it done. He's like, no, you
He
don't.
doesn't even grade.
Yeah, dude.
He doesn't even grade.
Yeah, I said that last year, then you graded it.
Well, he graded it like at the end.
Yeah.
I don't do mine till last minute.
Then you'll see what my
And I
grades
still
are.
Color isn't available.
This is where I'm talking about, if you're trying to do your car, you can go back to my car's value.
You're gonna be unhappy with
Again, make sure you get the other stuff done. So this is probably where Ben was at the beginning. Right, Ben?
Yeah, you will see my trade-in.
better, it's probably way better than $800. I expected it to be more than that. What were you for?
I'll put there.
Yeah, you have a Mazda
Wrap it
Miata.
up and all this residence. You keep driving the stove.
Your sister gets you too.
It's an
Mr. Ebersole,
Yeah.
you want us to put, Good.
I don't think I should look at that.
Let's say second the winner though.
Yes.
That's for your own one. You're still doing your own.
Did I do it wrong again? Dang.
No,
I
I
don't know.
I might have.
Cars are good on this speed.
I put $4 last night and I have to take it. I still managed. As I was going over $40.
Yes, she's trying to get some of her sister. That doesn't mean she has options.
So get it.
Oh, it's like trying for a manual error.
I got dropped to 60.
Manual RX.
It's a moon. Hey, I'll take a stock one any day of the week though. I ain't complaining.
Stock sometimes looks nice if it looks decent. What's this deal, eh? Good deal. You don't want to put it in a box,
Oh, great.
Just looking. I didn't want that car run out when I was back. You're getting me?
Shut up. I'm still looking at a BMW like 2 years ago. But no, my mom said no because it's a sports car.
That's still a lot of money.
Whatever. It was $2,000.
It's like
Yeah, nice. Stupid. I'm just gonna get a Mustang when I graduate. Just to
She
inspire
might go
me.
Hey, why you get a Fox Body Mustang?
No. If there's one down the road.
I got 60,000.
Then you get it. You're involved.
It's me.
I forgot. I was wondering why you were logged into mine.
Vincent brought it up to you. Batman movie, I was like, huh? What? Batman?
Give me your pen. You want your own? Tommy.
Going small.
Thank you. Couldn't really find it. I was looking for a box that has.
I know, you need to know the neighborhood of basketball.
Oh my God! Lane! I'm gonna give it to Tiger before I give it to you after that statement.
What up?
He said he's gonna kill my sister for her collar.
I would too.
Oh my
So it
God,
ain't going
never
either of us, it looks
mind.
like.
I'm saying never mind.
Actually, your whole family for that car, eh? Hold on, what's her address? What's her address? So I can look at the car. There you go, Lane, there's the value of my car.
That's mine.
That's mine.
Lane, it's
It's
silver.
not worth that much now though, because I screwed it up.
Lane, it's silver.
They got nice rooms?
I don't know what you consider nice.
Like,